Mbooni Girls versus Njiri School. 2 schools, 2 regions, 1 debate arena. The question is simple: who will rise above the other? Now, the stage unites them. Carrying the pride of the Eastern Hills, Mbooni Girls stepped forward into the spotlight. From the very first round, their fire was unmistakable, their unity unbreakable, their brilliance undeniable. Point after point, argument after argument, they silenced the doubters and inspired belief. What began as a dream has now become a reality, a match through knockouts, a triumph in the semis, and a statement in the finals. And today, Mbooni Girls do not stand as mere competitors. They rise as a force to be reckoned with. From the highlands of Njiri, Njiri High School emerges, bold, strategic, and unwavering in their pursuit of glory. Every match tested their endurance, every battle pushed them harder, and they rose to the challenge. A team sharpened by discipline, strengthened by unity, and driven by an unshakable will to win. Now, on the grandest stage of them all, Njiri steps forward as giants, bold, unyielding, and unstoppable. This is more than debate. This is the rise of Njiri High School.
Change comes with taking new initiatives. Change comes with taking new steps.
Regulation builds trust, which innovation clearly fails.
Digital innovation can increase penetration in Kenya by making insurance more accessible and user-friendly.
The question of insurance penetration in the Kenyan market is one that is constantly discussed among insurance companies. That's a bone of contention in today's motion. And the motion of dissection reads: digital innovation, not regulation, holds the key to increasing insurance uptake in Kenya. I'll read that motion again. Digital innovation, not regulation, holds the key to increasing insurance uptake in Kenya. Joining us today for this debate, we have Theresa Mbooni Girls versus Njiri School. All the best to both teams in the quarterfinals. We can't wait to see who makes it to the semis and to the finals. Team proposition, first speaker, you have 3 minutes.
When there's need of improvement, then definitely change is needed. Change comes with taking new initiatives. Change comes with taking new steps. From Theresa Mbooni Girls, Cynthia Nekesa, we have to strongly propose the motion that states digital innovation, not regulation, holds the key into increasing insurance uptake in Kenya. Let's understand the motion together. Digital innovation is use of digital technologies to create new opportunities, products, and services. Regulations, these are rules, laws, and standards set by different associations to ensure the efficiency of the products they offer. Uptake, this is the rate at which something is adopted. I hope all of you are aware of the alarming crisis of the insurance uptake in Kenya. If you're not, let me inform you. According to Standard Media, on 3rd May 2025, I just said 2025, the current insurance uptake in Kenya is 2.4%. The current insurance uptake in Kenya is 2.4%, which is below the global average of 7%. Isn't that shocking? The global average is 7%, and Kenya, we are at 2.4%. Definitely, there's need of change. In today's digital age, innovation is the force behind growth and development. When it comes to increasing insurance uptake in Kenya, then innovation holds the key. Because with innovation, we are talking about creating new opportunities. What we are proposing with digital innovation is simply developing new products and services which are efficient to everyone, improving the current existing processes that we have, and then creating new businesses model. With innovation and regulation, then definitely there will be accessibility. There will be insurance penetration and efficiency. My teammate will surely expound on this. This is a method that has been tried by different countries. And if actually Kenya, we want to get to the global average of 7%, then why don't we try it? Because if it has been tried in South Africa and worked, why wouldn't it work here? If it has been tried in England and worked, so what is it stopping us of Kenyans to try the method and it will work? We are not against regulation, but we need change. And change has to take new steps. That is why we are taking digital innovation. Obviously, with digital innovation, there's still regulation, but digital innovation becomes the greater key. Regulation alone is insufficient to drive the significant increase that we need. But with innovation, it is crucial to enhance accessibility. It is crucial to enhance affordability and awareness to the people. When you go out here, it is according to research done by Vatican News on 3rd March 2024. Over 60% of Kenyans are not fully informed on how our insurances processes work. But with digital innovation, definitely they will be able to acquire this knowledge. Because according to a research done by Pew Research Center on May 25th, 2023, it was clearly stated that in 100 people, 98% have access to mobile platforms, meaning that with these mobile platforms, if digital innovation is there, they will have information. But again, in Kenya, to the rural areas, in 1,000 people, you can only find one traditional insurance center. So if we take traditional innovation, we are trying to make it accessible even to the undeserted population. That is why, as Theresa Mbooni Girls, we are not against regulation. But if we need change, then digital innovation is the way. Thank you.
Team proposition. Are you people aware that according to the Kenyan Constitution, that is Article 53, sub-Article 1B, it clearly emphasizes that each and every individual is entitled to free and basic compulsory education. So join me, George Alvin, from the great, mighty, and prestigious Njiri School as I educate team proposition by firmly opposing the above motion that states digital innovation, not regulation, holds the key to increasing insurance in Kenya. So before I commence any further, I'm going to carry out my duty and role as team opposition's first speaker, but first defining the key terms in the motion. So digital innovation, this is the use of technology, basically through mobile apps, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and insurtech to improve accessibility, affordability, and user experience. Regulation refers to government policies and laws governing insurance, and a perfect example is the IRA Kenya guidelines and the Central Bank of Kenya's oversight. And last but not the least, insurance uptake. This refers to the proportions of Kenyans buying insurance products. And team proposition, are you aware that the insurance uptake in our country, it is currently at around 2.3% according to the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Kenya in the year 2023. Okay, see this. So this is what we as team opposition are putting on the table. In our world, we are aware that regulation builds trust, which innovation clearly fails. People avoid insurance. And why are they doing this? People avoid insurance because they're afraid of scams. Regulation, a perfect example, the KDIC insurance for banks, it guarantees safety. Okay, a perfect example, the Central Bank of Kenya's regulation of mobile money, it builds trust and confidence in M-Pesa. Okay, talking about your country, Kenya, in South Africa, the FSCA regulation, it increased insurance adoption. And I'm not just uttering a string of intelligent words. Rather, I sourced my arguments from a study that was conducted by the IRA Kenya annual report in the year 2023, and also a report carried out by the International Monetary Fund Africa in the year 2023. Another burden of truth that we as team opposition are putting on the table. In our world, we are aware that digital innovation, it excludes the technologically illiterate. By team proposition supporting the above motion, they are clearly ignoring that not everybody is entitled to these technological advancements happening right now. They are clearly ignoring the people who are living in rural and marginalized areas. Okay, in our country, Kenya, the smartphone penetration in our country is at 64%. Oh my God, team proposition. My great-grandmother, who does not know how to use a smartphone, is currently in this 64% penetration. Have a little bit of mercy on her. Okay, I'm not just starting a string of intelligent words, but I base my arguments on a study that was conducted by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in the year 2023. Okay, another burden of proof that we as team proposition are putting on the table. We are aware that innovation without rules is extremely dangerous, and it is going to lead to abyss. Okay, crypto scams in our country. Crypto scams in our country, they cost investors billions, and I say billions of monies. Regulation, it is going to protect them and shield these consumers and enforce fairness. And I base my arguments on a study that was conducted by the International Monetary Fund in the year 2023. So team proposition, as I always say, there is light at the end of every tunnel. And although this podium is greatly lit with all the bright lights and stuff, team proposition still stand on the darker part of this motion. Thank you.
We have all seen that regulations has
has been implied for centuries. But we have seen that when it comes to the financial uptake in Kenya, it isn't the efficient solution. But this is where we introduce digital innovation. Well, the opposition team has just stated that when it comes to financial uptake in Kenya, it is at 2.3. But this was a study that was done in 2022. We are now in 2025, and the uptake has already increased to 2.4. And plus, we are not against regulation. We are just saying that change is better. The opposition team is trying to show how we should not rely on digital innovation. But you find that according to Blue Clip Digital, in the country of Uganda, despite the efforts that have been done by insurance regulation to strengthen the sector, Uganda's insurance penetration still remains at a low of 2%, and with a penetration rate of less than 1%. The key challenges are mainly limited public knowledge about insurance, the lack of trust, high costs, and widespread micro misconceptions. But we know that we cannot imply something that obviously hasn't worked in another sector. When we take a look at South Africa, who has actually implemented the digital innovation, it has enhanced customer experience, having a streamlined insurance processes, enabling timely claims processing, precise risk evaluations, and efficient policy insurance. It has also promoted financial inclusion, particularly among low-income demographics, by providing affordable and accessible insurance products. Ladies and gentlemen, we aren't against regulation, but we are trying to show you how, when we try and submerge digital innovation together with the regulation, it is actually going to be advantageous. From the depths of Theresa Mbooni Girls, it is I, Nadia Bone. You find that if we try and use digital innovation, it is going to be a competitive advantage. Companies that have leveraged digital innovations are more likely to gain competitive advantage in the insurance market. According to a report that was done by Professor Wilson, one of the professors in Nairobi University, innovative companies are more likely to experience significant growth and outfare of their competitors. Not only that, but digital innovation can increase penetration in Kenya by making insurance more accessible and user-friendly. According to the report done by the World Finance Bureau, digital insurance products have increased insurance penetration by 15% in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, if we try and merge digital information together with the regulation, we have a higher percentage chance of increasing Kenya's financial uptake, because we are mainly looking at Kenya's financial uptake. Thank you.
For the lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advices. So says the good book. What we say from team opposition, we don't say that innovation is wrong, innovation is bad, innovation is not the only bridge towards what you're trying to achieve. We agree, yeah. We have a common goal, that is increasing the intake of insurance, where we all agree that it is at a 2.4 rate as per the 2024. So I'd like to start first with some rebuttals. One, the team brought forth the argument where you say that it is taking new initiatives. You called for replacement, where you say that we should work for innovation rather than regulation. You give examples of countries such as South Africa. You give a good case study of where Uganda is at. So here's what we have to say compared to what you're saying. You argue that 15% is what is the development that South Africa came with. I have a case study that will give a rebuttal of whatever you've been saying. So here's the case study. Do you know that according to IRA, that is the insurance in annual insurance industry report in 2024, introduction of micro insurance regulation. This is an example of where regulation is working, where regulation is being applied in our country. in 2019, which was aimed at increasing financial inclusion and extend insurance coverage to undeserved population. So everything must have a framework. They like to show us how the framework that innovation is being applied in our country, or will be applied if it is not happening. So the framework that we believe regulation will take is taking, as we can see from this case studies. One, it works on risk-based supervision. Two, it works on micro insurance license category. To pound more on that, it makes it easier for insurers to offer affordable products. And three, it works on consumer protection, where it ensures equality in terms of treatment and public holders. So you want to ask what the impact that regulation brought. So it brought 500,000 policies issued in 2019. This is an increase. It's brought 1.2 million policies issued in 2020, which is a 40% increase compared to the previous years. And in 2021, it brought a 2 million policy increase, which is a 67% increase from the previous years, from 2019. So 15%, 57%. Way on where you'd like to balance. So, aside from that, we argue that cybersecurity risks undermine innovation. In Kenya, globally, digital investors face cyber risks. So, innovation have the reason on how we can improve financial reprimand above the youth. But according to in the International Review of Financial Analysis in 2023, they have slowed down because users fear the data that isn't safe. So we have given you a framework of what will happen, why we believe that regulation is better than innovation. No, we don't believe it's better than innovation. We believe that it is the backbone of innovation. Thank you. That was my time. Charles Nyeke from Njiiri.
Picture this. You have a round hole and you're trying to insert a square bolt, which is regulation. Yet, it will definitely leave some spaces. And what we're advocating for is filling these gaps using digital innovations. Standing before you is Sophia Kalondo, and I'm currently building my future at the prominent Theresa Mbooni Girls. Team opposition. Thank you so much for supporting us, because you have talked about insurance being at 2.4%, which is below the average, the national wide, which is global need, which is at 7%. Meaning that regulation has not brought about the required change, and that is why we are advocating for change, which is bringing about digital innovations, because we have these regulations which have been existent since time immemorial, yet they have proved more ineffective. When with that, I shall be delving deeper into my points, where I shall mention how digital innovations has brought about an increase in efficiency. We have not said that regulation has not brought about this inefficiency, but you're trying to improve it. We're trying to increase the uptake. We are advocating for more people to take insurance. And that is why when we have digital innovations, which increase in efficiency by reducing cost and improving quality, improving productivity. And AI has also brought about automating these tasks, generating project plans, and managing workflows. Meaning that if we introduce digital innovations, we will be able to improve insurance greatly, because there is an effect which is going to be improving business outcomes and enhancing customer loyalty. Well, the first speaker has brought you a local aspect of what happens in Kenya. The second speaker has brought you a glimpse of what happens in Africa, and I shall be giving you a global view of what actually happens. And this is I'll be given an example of a very good country which has also implemented this. England, based on a study done by the Bank of England on 25th of August 2024, 75% of the farms in the UK have actually adopted AI, and it has been used to streamline operations and to improve decision making. And based on a research that was done by Professor Timothy Green, who is a professor in Oxford University, on 4th of July 2024, he also get to prove that efficiency of AI is 20% better as compared to regulations. And this has also led to 10% of these farms which have not adapted AI to actually want to adopt this great innovation in the next 3 years. And a contrast to a country which has not implemented this is North Korea. What are the repercussions of not implementing this? Insufficient processes, whereby most of them are manual, bring about increased delays and increasing costs. And this has also led to low insurance penetration. Remember, the main issue we are trying to deal with is uptake of insurance coverage. Therefore, based on Forum SBP on 24th of September 2024, insurance uptake in North Korea was at 2%. This is below the global average at 7%, clearly proving our point. And with that, I shall rest my case. Ciao.
We are not supporting you. Why? You keep on talking about innovation like it's magic. But when Kenya file claims and get costed, no apps will sell them, but strict regulations will. That's why I, Emmanuel from the Njiri School, I'm here to show you that regulations hold the key to increasing insurance uptake in Kenya. Just speaking of access and convenience, it does not guarantee trust or uptake. Because technology only removes physical barriers, but deep-rooted mistrust is not guaranteed, whereby insurance or the knowledge on taking insurance, it does not remove that. This is a research done by IRA Kenya annual report. It reported that often people IRA Kenya annual report reported that there is lack of mistrust, whereby the people aren't aware of insurance. Second, what you brought on the table is competitive markets, but without regulation, it's going to bring chaos, misinformation, and it's going to bring a lot of chaos. This is a research done by IRA for insurance technology companies. Those are the only things they have brought on the table. And will it outweigh regulation? No. Let me show you how. We have brought on the table that regulation builds trust. And without regulation, innovation is not going to work. I'll give you an example. In South Africa, FCSA regulation increased insurance adoption. Regulation. Also, digital innovation excludes the technologically illiterate. How does it exclude them? I'll tell you. In Kenya, 64% penetration of smartphones have happened in Kenya. What about the other percentage that is left out? This is a research done by the Kenya National Bureau of Standards in 2023 ICT report. Another thing, innovation without rules leads to abuse. We have talked about crypto scams in Kenya. Crypto scams in Kenya, there are no regulations. A lot of youth are suffering out there whereby they get scammed. Now tell me how innovation is going to work. I'll give you an example where regulation has worked. An example is NHIF in Kenya. NHIF in Kenya has regulation whereby it was forced to the people who are working to take it. Tell me, it worked efficiently. People got support from it. Another one, it's motor vehicle insurance in Kenya, whereby this is a research done by the RA annual report in 2023. They are saying that innovation is working, but I'll give you an example of countries where they've done innovation and it haven't worked. An example is India, early micro insurance apps, whereby, according to IRDAI 2022 report, reported that many claims were cancelled because of using AI. This links me to the US incidents about lemonade, whereby a report done by CNBS in 2022 said that lemonade faces criticism over AI claims denial. Now, look, there are some places it doesn't work. It didn't work. Now, our country, it has worked. Let us adapt it. How are we going to adapt it? Improvising in our studies, whereby, according to KLB, we are learning insurance, and it's really helping people, a lot of people. And I, Emmanuel, I will advise you, regulation is the best way to improvise insurance in our country. Thank you.
I've sat here, listened to the argument, and I'm still not understanding. You're talking about regulation helping, and yet you're at 2.4%. If it was helping, then definitely Kenya, the insurance uptake should be at 8%. And as Boni girls, we're not against regulation. We are simply saying for us to get the targeted change, let's merge regulation with innovation. You talked about insurance apps. Is insurance app not digital innovation? We are not against regulation, but simply emphasizing that if we want to get the targeted change, making sure that the insurance uptake in Kenya at least gets to the global average at 7%. Let's do digital innovation. It has worked. The second speaker talked about of alternatives other than digital innovation. What alternatives? They're just giving us cases which have not worked anywhere. Kenya is not a lab rat. Give us things which have worked somewhere and so that you can implement it. Just talking about alternatives which you have not mentioned, alternatives which have never worked. Maybe you're still thinking of it. I hope you'll come and tell us what you have thought. So what we are simply proposing is let's merge innovation with regulation for us to achieve the targeted change that Kenya needs. We need the people to be able to be aware of what insurance is important to us. And the only way is digital innovation and regulation. Thank you.
Last time I checked, the motion of the section reads digital innovation, not regulation. So the fact that team proposition actually agree that innovation is risky on its own, inadequate on its own, proves our argument right. So they argue with us saying that regulation is what we need to achieve an increase in insurance uptake. One, what the motion of the section required of us to prove that we have the upper hand in this motion. We have to prove that regulation is successful. What it needs is implementation. Through our arguments, I, as the second speaker, we did that with a case study of Kenya and IRA in microfinance. We had to critique the limits of innovation where we see that it is limited by circumstances such as cybersecurity. We created a clear framework where regulation is working, what we will do, what point of regulation we will apply, and we gave data statistics of where regulation is being applied. So we have given you light, they're leading you into the dark by contradicting whatever the speakers have been saying. I believe beauty is a proportion of wisdom. If that applies to our proposals, I believe you should be joining us. Thank you.
Okay, so well done to both teams. I think you've already proven that you are worthy of the quarterfinal. So this was a really good round. So mine are just going to be general comments on how the debate motion would have been tackled best, and then we can probably move on from there. So the idea of digital innovation versus regulation is an issue of priority. So firstly, it's not like if digital innovation is what you're defending, there will be no regulation in that world. Or if you're defending regulation, there will be no digital innovation. It's just a matter of what are we going to prioritize that will trigger the citizens of Kenya to probably buy into insurance as a sector. So the first thing we probably would have wanted is a roadmap as to exactly how digital innovation or regulation leads to that kind of insurance uptake. Statistics are present, but without active mechanization, we don't really understand exactly how it flows. It's like looking at a chart. You still need to talk about the elements before we actually understand. This could probably look like telling us what digital innovation looks like if you're in team proposition. Is it integrating with social media so that you can actively access the youth or the people in Kenya who are on social media? In terms of online marketing, are you making people more aware of insurance? And will this trigger them into probably buying into insurance? Even customized user interfaces that can probably make people more interested into the idea of insurance is probably just a roadmap to show us specifically what is going to motivate these people to get this kind of uptake. If you're on the side of regulation, tell us, is it specific policy reforms that will have a virtue signaling effect on the citizens of Kenya? Because remember, there is active protest against the insurance sector. People probably don't trust it like you guys are telling us. So tell us, if you reform these policies or if you streamline regulation, does it then give people more confidence in the sector, which then motivates them to buy into it? You see, you have the point, but just draw that kind of roadmap. This looks like mechanizing your statistics, then we can probably understand it. That and the whole idea of priority is something that probably could have been engaged by both teams, but otherwise, I think this was a generally well debated round, and those were just my general comments. Good luck.
Cynthia, very passionate debater. However, there are a few things you'll love to bring out. You mentioned that this has worked in South Africa, England. How did it work? Very, very important. And then when you say that there is a 98% access to mobile phone platforms, there is a link you need to give back to the motion. Like we are talking about increasing insurance uptake. That was completely missing. So we felt that as a first debater or a first speaker, you could have gone ahead to give us examples of insurance companies that are doing digital innovation and it has worked for them big time. So that was largely missing. For George, when you say digital regulation is important, the next question is why? Then go ahead and give us several maybe online scams that have hit the insurance industry big time and say why regulation on this is important. Then Nadia, as a second debater, you need to give rebuttals. Again, you mentioned the South Africa example. I wish you could have gone ahead and tell us how they did it. And then there was quite some bit of reading, but then you're a very passionate debater. You just work on that. Charles, we were losing you in terms of the clarity of your presentation. It's important for you to give clear topic sentences which are linking back to the motion. And then you guys are saying we need to do digital regulation. The question is, why do we need to do it? So again, bringing on board examples of online scams that have affected the insurance industry will go a long way in giving a shot in your motion's arm. Sophia, you also gave us the example of the Bank of England. So we were trying to wait for that insurance bit. That was not, the link back to the motion was not clearly coming out. And then you spoke about Korea. I wish you could have gone ahead to expound how this worked over there. So for Emmanuel Nyakundi, Emmanuel, you came on board with a lot of examples. Actually, at one point you brought life to your motion. I wish you could have gone ahead to expound more on the crypto scams. And then you link back again to the motion because the motion is saying to increasing insurance uptake in Kenya. So the link back to the motion was not well brought out in both teams. But you guys, by virtue of being here, it means you have a lot that you've learned, and I'm sure you're going to be better with the feedback we're giving you. All the best. Thank you.
Round of applause, please, for both teams on stage. Thank you very much, judges, for that feedback. I'll go straight and announce the results. The judges have awarded Njiri School with 61.26%. A round of applause, please, for Njiri School. And the judges have awarded St. Theresa Mbooni Girls with 62%. A round of applause, please, for St. Theresa Mbooni Girls, making them the winners of this particular round. Our round of applause, please, for our winning team. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of yet another episode here at the Debate Circle. I have been your host, Jenna Cheng, and until next time, it's goodbye from us. Remember to check our social media handles. That's at the Debate Circle across all our social media platforms.